So the following Beyonce Knowles news comes from moretoit.com, and that's moretoit.com. So it's more to it without the E. And this is very disturbing. And I just wanted to make sure I preface this by saying, no, I'm not homophobic. No, I don't hate gay people, before anybody says something stupid. So just save your breath. Anyway, moretoit.com without an E writes, and I quote, "Successful transgendered actress and star of Orange is the New Black, Laverne Cox, to play the role of Beyonce in an upcoming biopic produced by MTV Films. Jason Swans, who is the casting director for the film, spoke with Billboard about choosing Cox for the lead role. Quote, "We thought it was very important to land a lead who closely resembled Beyonce. We immediately thought of the beautiful Laverne Cox," end quote, Swan stated. Pause right there. You thought it was important to pick somebody who closely resembled Beyonce, and you immediately thought of a transsexual. That's amazing. The article goes on to say, though we know choosing Cox won't come without some level of controversy, we also realize that die-hard fans of the singer wouldn't like anyone we choose to play the iconic figure. It is very risky, but we feel like when the public sees how Cox embodies the role, they will fall in love with her and her performance," he continued. Swans also revealed that the film will shed insight into Beyonce's failed relationships with her father, Matthew Knowles, R&B singer Marcus Houston, and former Destiny's Child members Latavia Robertson and LaToya Luckett. He would not reveal who he chose to play the role of her husband, Jay-Z. Filming for the project is already underway and is expected to conclude in the coming months, end quote. Okay, so this man closely resembles Beyonce. You gotta be kidding me. You know, they're always up to some BS, and this right here takes the gay wedding cake. First of all, the decision to cast a man to play the role of Beyonce Knowles is beyond degrading. This is a blatant display of heterophobia. There are people in the entertainment business who hate straight people and normal functioning families. They have been using propaganda-laden programs for the mind disguised as entertainment for some time now. I guess since actually technically before TV was invented, because Edward Bernays wrote a book called Propaganda in 1928, and he was Sigmund Freud's nephew. So yeah, they've been doing this for a very, very long time now. I think that they did it before any forms of media or press actually existed. Like when kings at the castle, they, spread rumors or different things like that. But anyway, they've been using these propaganda-laden programs for the mind disguised as entertainment forever, it seems like, in order to get people in line with their warped agenda. Now, I am 100% against this joke of a film, and I already know the sickos out there are going to claim homophobia. However, I am not a homophobe. A phobia is a fear of something. And if you want to try that stupid hate speech angle, I do not hate homosexuals at all whatsoever. I do, however, hate dangerous propaganda and someone trying to enforce their false ideals upon me and my people. The funny thing about it is, when the backlash comes, these evil people are going to say, quote, "Black people are homophobic," which could not be further from reality for many reasons. I don't have time at the moment to break all of them down, but I'm pretty sure just about all of us have at least one homosexual in our families. And I honestly have never met even one so-called black person who actually hates homosexuals. And for what I've seen, is usually Caucasian people who go out of their way to try to harm homosexuals, including kicking them out of their family, basically. I've seen plenty of Caucasian people pull anti-homosexual stunts. For example, Caucasian store owners to this day display signs stating they refuse blacks and gays to have any sort of service, and they're not even allowed, quote unquote, allowed in their establishment in 2015. Then, of course, there's the stone the gays to death preaching Christian pastors. And speaking of Christians, the people who have those, quote, "God hates fags" signs that often protest at people's funerals, like that one church, those aren't so-called black people. So remember, all of this when the racist anti-black rhetoric starts to begin, because it's coming. They're going to try to use it as an angle. Anyway, this man is not just a homosexual. He is what they call a transgender or transsexual person. And we in America call people who mutilate themselves with knives and surgeries words like insane, in quote, desperate need of help, not normal, dangerous. We also say that they're freaks, they're not right in the head, and we quickly classify these people as someone who obviously have a mental disorder, and rightfully so for obvious reasons, because self-mutilation is a violent and unnecessary act of self-depravity, and you are a potential danger to the rest of society if you commit these violent acts. Yet if some homosexual who's mentally deluded wants to pretend he could ever be a female, he comes along and cuts his penis off, society must then defend this self-mutilator as being somehow being the new normal. And we must defend him and never negatively critique or offend him. This man suddenly has special rights and freedom of speech is thrown out of the window, despite the fact that gay men are constantly attacking women by calling them cunts, bitches, for no other reason than disagreeing with them. However, it is acceptable in this warped society because a gay man has become the honorary female. He now has female status and protection in society that will soon surpass that of the female if he keeps going where it's going. He's been elevated and celebrated in the same way a mentally challenged person has. You know, we've been forced to call mentally challenged people, for example, special. And they, of course, have their own Special Olympics because seeing they are, quote, different, they must be celebrated and made to feel good. Why? Just because. You must go out of your way to kiss their ass. Not me, personally. I mean, I refuse to. You know, I don't give special treatment to anybody because it's degrading. Seeing I believe in equality, I won't treat a so-called special person any better than anyone else, including calling them special. They're just a person. And I know what you not so smart, pro-gay, anti-straight propagandists are thinking. Quote, if you believe in equality, you should theoretically believe this man who is pretending to be a woman should be allowed to portray Beyonce in this film. And the answer is an emphatic no. Because this boy playing that particular role has nothing to do with equality. And has everything to do with hidden agendas and integrity. But you should have known what Beyonce was about. Because I bet you she knows about this and she's okay with it. But you should have known what she's about. When she did that stupid song about how things would be like if she were born a boy or whatever. If I was a boy, I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. But anyway, I'll break down that stupid song in another video because there's a bunch of songs that I need to be talking about. I do that every once in a while. I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to have to do one about Roughneck by MC Light, which is Tear. Anyway, right now we're discussing the ridiculous idea that a man should somehow, some way be allowed to portray Beyonce on the screen, okay? So people will call me all sorts of names for not sipping the Kool-Aid. However, let a Chinese woman try to play the Queen of England. Or let a Nigerian man try to play the freaking Pope in a film. Or how about the Sex and the City cast, which are all women? What if the all-female cast of Sex and the City were chosen to play the founding fathers of America? I think Sarah Jessica Parker would play a mean George Washington. Nah, I'm fucking with you. She wouldn't at all. It's a silly idea for many reasons. Hell, men and women generally have different body compositions. That's why gay men look like idiots when they dress in drag. The clothing is ill-fitting. And if society can come together and critique people for clothing styles on shows like Fashion Police on E! Entertainment, and we call rappers all sorts of names for wearing sagging pants or having oversized or baggy pants as well, people can claim that these fashion styles are related to committing crimes, and all sorts of other conversations come up for something as simple as clothing choices. So, therefore I can say something about a gay man, dressing in a way that only women should. And as for you so-called black women, you should be outraged at the mere idea that this big silly looking man is going to imitate arguably the biggest musician of the last 18 years, and he has a major network and a sizable budget behind this buffoonish idea to boot. At a time when so-called women of color are struggling to obtain quality roles, the biggest musician in the world is going to be played by a gay man? This has to be one of the biggest attacks on brown people via the entertainment mind programming machine ever. Talk about the emasculation of masculinity and the blatant degradation of femininity being brought down to nothing but a joke and a spectacle. This is disgusting. And it's really interesting because when, what was it, Idris Elba was going to play Thor, some sort of other superhero, Caucasian people flipped out about that shit. But it was cool that they did that, right? But I'm not supposed to flip out about this, right? This is a slap to the face of women of melanin, and you better sign petitions and boycott this bullshit. I mean, if you can get rid of that stupid Sorority Sisters TV show or whatever it was called from VH1, which is forced upon us, you can abort this mission too. Hell, you abort enough brown babies, abort this. Seeing this man starring as Beyonce is truly an abortion to my eyes. If Lady Gaga or Taylor Swift were to be portrayed by Andy Dick or Bruce Jenner, you better believe people will call bullshit, and rightfully so. Who's dumb enough to support this foolishness? Who writes the freaking script? Who comes up with the ideas? Do they really think this shit up, or they just say this shit on the fly? At the end of the day, there is no reason other than propaganda for this dumb move to happen, and I hope it backfires big time. Well, what did you really expect? Between Empire being one of the biggest shows on TV right now, which is filth, to Hollywood casting all of these African and mixed women to portray you and take these roles that you could be playing to now men. I bet you didn't see that one coming, honey. Even though it was right in front of your eyes. And now MTV is in on it. It's not just the movie industry. As a teenager, I stopped watching MTV for about a year. I saw some things on there that I knew were just pure propaganda. And it looks like this may be the time for me to tune out forever. They just can't seem to do the right thing. They want to turn the world upside down in the worst way. They're constantly promoting this depopulation agenda. MTV is extremely pro-military, pro-abortion, pro-homosexuality, pro-birth control, pro-so-called black-on-black violence, non-traditional families, etc. MTV is in the fucking murder business. As a matter of fact, they're in the genocide business, in the gender side business. And to me, androgyny isn't funny. It isn't cute, and it's not fucking normal. I Like Being a Man in this movie is a prime example of gay people pushing whatever their mental malfunction is off on the rest of us. And that's my opinion, and I have the right to it. For now, that is. I have the right to think what I want to think for now. Anyway, before I go, I just want to say this. I personally don't sag my pants. I think it's fruity as hell. You know, no homo and no homophobe. But I don't do that weird shit. But if I were to, Fox fake news hosts could publicly state on television that my pants, and or if I were to wear a hooded sweatshirt, etc., is the cause or in contribution to me being physically harmed by a Caucasian person, it would be used as an excuse. Well, look at what he was wearing. A society would go to bat for this person or these people, saying that, you know, they agree with that nonsense, and they make every excuse in the book for these people. They claim free speech and say things like, quote, that's his or her opinion. Then they use buzzwords to shut people's critical thinking skills down, like perception. And that's all she wrote. So all of you people who are anti-black, pro-gay, and you believe in these mythological stories about, quote, black people being, quote, homophobic, just swerve already and miss me with your bullshit truck. Because I'm warning you right now, I will personally shut down your bullshit rhetoric real quick. And I'm not scared of some stinking gay mafia either. R.I.P. homosexual agenda, closed casket. And yeah, I know about that book titled After the Ball. I know about that too. P.S. Laverne Cox looks nothing like Beyonce. That clown wishes he could. Let me know what you think about it all below. Be sure to subscribe to the Meat Magazine YouTube channel. Visit meatmagazine.blogspot.com for more. It's about to get heavy on my blog and heavier on my YouTube channel. It's about to be insane. About as insane as old Jolly Black Giant playing Beyonce. Meat Magazine.